In the 2nd century before the birth of Christ, Eurasian merchants created the world's first trade superhighway, the Silk Road. Caravans of traders and animals transported silks, jewels, and spices across the vast desert in the center of the Eurasian continent and reached the shores of the Mediterranean Sea. At the same time, the maritime Silk Road started from China's southeast coastal regions, crossing a vast expanse of oceans and seas to countries in Southeast Asia, Africa, and Europe. As the world's oldest and most historically important trade route, the Silk Road promoted the exchange of Western and Oriental civilizations, bringing together Chinese, Indian, Persian, Arabian, ancient Greek, and Roman cultures.
For almost 40 years, China's relationship with the world has been increasing and becoming more and more engaged, no doubt about that. But I have a sense that with the One Belt, One Road strategy, there is an inflection point, a significant change where China is going from being largely reactive. When things happen, China has to react, to China taking a more proactive role in deciding what are some of the major concerns of the world and making innovative approaches. Is this observation legitimate? Do you think that's correct? Because if it's
2000年的时候，我可以肯定的说，没有任何一个算命先生说只要10年时间，中国最大，很少有人。也就是说，包括中国人自己也没预料到，我们能够健康的、稳定的以这种速度发展到这个程度。也就是说，中国近100年来的历史，200年的历史。使得中国始终处于一个经济落后的这个地位，很难想到自己要站到这个位置的时候，自己应该有的在国际社会的这个举动。我非常赞成您刚刚讲的，在国际活动当中很多的交流交锋当中，中国是有它积极主动的一面，但也有它消极的一面。我们不挑事，不制造问题，不制造麻烦，尽量避免制造麻烦。但麻烦找到我们的时候，当然我们必须要应对。现在的问题是，这个经济规模已经到这个程度，这个经济影响力，中国已经是对超过120个国家是最大的贸易国，对120多个国家来说，是中国是他们的最大贸易国。这种情况下，中国如果不主动的意识、主动的行为，作为这样一个经济大国应该有的责任和应该有的示威的方式。和行为的方式，来适应这个经济地位的变化和国际社会对这个期待，那将落后于这个整个经济的发展。
What are core developmental projects of China's One Belt, One Road strategy? What kinds of projects can create mutual benefits among asymmetric countries, especially long term?
This is Bishkek, the capital of Kyrgyzstan. At the presidential palace, President Almazbek Atambayev is hosting a party for the country's elite. 36-year-old Abakirov, the owner of a high-tech startup company, is invited.
I think the Soviet Union era is the past. We have to build a new economy, so we have to move forward in that direction.
In the territory of custom union, we lose business climate which can keep investment and talent of entrepreneurship. In China, it's still new growing and they compete with the world and they try to receive best models and to implement with the local government. So it's a more positive and more beneficial way for the perspective.
And it's not only business owners. Some officials in the government agree that Chinese investments are better for Kyrgyzstan.
The United States gives a lot of financial aid to Kyrgyzstan. However, they do this through grants and donor money, not investments. Russia, too, is a big investor in the energy sector. However, the most active investor is China. Cooperation with neighboring China is more natural for Kyrgyzstan. There is a mutual interest in each other.
Ibrahim Al-Buai Nain is the president of Aramco Asia. Its parent firm, Saudi Aramco, holds 20% of the world's oil reserves.
Now, if you look at the evolution of that relation and where there is some kind of connectivity between this Silk Road initiative and our strategy, I believe this is a very relevant. President Xi said for thousands of years, the spirit embodied by the Silk Road, namely the peace and cooperation, openness and inclusiveness, and mutual learning and benefit. And that has been passed down through the generation. So in my view, we are become the inheritance of this historical legacy, and it's our obligation to reinstate it. So I think this is a very fundamental and very interesting initiative that is matching what we try to do. We've been here for the last 30, 40 years. Majority of our sales come to this market. So it's a natural market for us. The relation that we build in China and other regions is also complementary. We depend on the Chinese market and other nations in the Northeast Asia. They support us, we support them, we get their goods and services to build our nation and build our companies. But in the same time, we are fueling their economy. So this is where we see the matching between the initiative that President Xi is calling for. It's in line with what we are trying to do.
One of the concerns that some people in China have is that over time, China will be looked upon as an exploiter by taking economic resources and buying raw materials, not just oil, but all natural resources from Africa, many different places, and potentially Central Asia, and sending back to them manufactured products, which would become an analog to what the colonial powers did with an overt colonization. So there are some people in China that are concerned that China not fall into that same trap. Do you think that's a problem?
No, I don't think that is going to be the issue. I think this relation is not started from today. This is a history. And since the early stage of the Silk Road, there is a lot of mutual understanding, mutual benefit, and that is the essence of the entire relation. I don't think, and I don't believe, in my view, that is the idea of seeing China as like the colonization ages where they can to extract the value. Because if we invested in China and they invested in Saudi Arabia, so we have this collateral relation. Your interest is my interest, and your interest is my interest as well.
This view is echoed by experts from China's neighboring countries.
I think a few aspects are relatively positive about this idea. One is economic interdependence, intensifying of the economic interdependence. China had become the largest trading partner for over 128 countries out of 200 countries on this earth. So it is, is a major beneficiary. Of course, the others are also major beneficiaries of involving in transfers of goods and services across the borders. That had relatively reduced conflict overall, if we believe in the economic interdependence theories, which suggest to reduction in conflicts. So that is a positive kind of contribution. The second one is movements of peoples across these places, including in the Silk Road. The last year we heard about 92 million Chinese visited abroad, which is a huge component in the overall, if you leave alone the United States and Europe as the major contributors for tourism, This is another emerging area where you have a huge tourism potential.
而一路一带，特别是海上丝绸之路的这个战略构想，我觉得是解决遇到共同问题、解决面临共同挑战的最好的一种模式。因为它的初衷就是希望能够携起手来，共商共量，通过合作争取一个共赢的结果，而不是通过这个合作更加强化某一部分力量，削弱另一部分的力量。它的目标是能够地区的，不是单个国家，甚至不是双边，是多边的合作的共赢。这就是这个构想的深远之处，也是无法回避的一个事实，就是我们遇到的问题，它的相似性、它的共性越来越凸显出来。多大程度能解决这些问题，事实上是取决于国家和国家、地区和地区之间的合作。因此，我想从这个意义上来说，我们有信心，这种模式、这种战略性的构想，不光是对中国简单对中国有益，我觉得对大家都是有益的，对这个地球村是有益的。